Data mining and the data sources used as part of the process are the subject of increasing amounts of government and supranational regulation. The relative ease with which vast quantities of data can be gathered, processed and mined has given rise to a number of concerns relating to issues of privacy, transparency and confidentiality. There are also issues of unethical individuals using the reach and power of the Internet to widely misinform and inappropriately influence people and even to abuse them, often from a position of complete anonymity. Transparency is a fundamental ethical principle related to the collection and use of personal data. The data subject, the person whose data is being stored, has the right to know why the data is being collected, who will be storing and using the data, for what purposes the data will be used, for how long they can expect it to be stored, and how they can go about amending the data if any details are incorrect or have changed. Legislation such as the Data Protection Acts of individual nations and the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, place restrictions on how data can be gathered, stored and processed. However, beyond these provisions, they do not specifically prohibit or limit the use of data mining. Ethical considerations are different from the legal requirements, even if there is some degree of overlap. The primary ethical principle is that of informed consent. This means that a data subject, the person about whom the data is gathered, should be informed and should consent to the use of their data. Approval should be sought for each potential way in which the data will be used. Blanket approvals allowing the use of the data for any purpose will not suffice. Another assumption underlying this principle is that the data subject is capable of knowing the consequences of providing such consent. A well-known example of the deliberate misuse of data mining is the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal, in which Cambridge Analytica used data from the profiles of millions of Facebook users in order to influence public opinion in the 2015 and 2016 campaigns of United States politicians Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, the 2016 Brexit vote, and the 2018 Mexican general election. The result of this irresponsible use of data was not only a heightening of awareness of privacy issues on social media, but also the loss of $100 billion from Facebook's market valuation. More specifically, as far as businesses are concerned, potential bias in data models is also an ethical issue which needs to be considered. The manner in which the data is gathered and the way sampling is performed can bias any model using the data. In order to ensure that human bias doesn't influence our data models, we need to ensure that the data upon which we rely within our models are an accurate reflection of the entire population on which we will later use the model to perform predictions or support decisions. Lastly, as the effective application of data analytics and data models are often used to inform a decision-making process which can determine the success or failure of businesses. For that reason, it's very important that the data mining techniques, the data analytics process, and the data models used are reliable, ethically and responsibly constructed, and transparent in nature.